The Douglas Coleman Show is made possible with support from Seth David Radwell, a recent guest on the program and author of American Schism, How the Two Enlightenments Hold the Secret to Healing Our Nation, released this past July. As Publishers Weekly writes in its recent glowing book life review of American Schism, business executive Radwell's epic debut examines the historical influences that have led to what he sees as the collapse of politics in the United States. Seth Radwell makes the case that the current chasm between the American right and left can be traced back to the 18th century's Age of Enlightenment and the basic tenets of liberty, equality, and reason. American Schism provides a historical perspective that can help us fight today's unreason with reason and bridge current-day divides. American Schism by Seth David Radwell is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. For more information, go to AmericanSchismBook.com.
It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show.
Mr. Smooth and Savvy
is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous
and not so famous,
the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Okay, please welcome back to the Douglas Coleman Show, Austin Davis. Hi, Austin. Welcome back.
Hey, Douglas. Thanks so much for having me back.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. So, how long ago was it that you were on the show? It's like a year already, yeah?
I want to say a year because I remember during our first interview, we were talking all about the current happenings of the pandemic. But I guess, that's similar to any time during the last year and a half, we could say that.
Well, I think it was just kind of at the serious point of it, and now at least theoretically it's winding down. But I don't know. I'm not convinced it's winding down. I think it's just taking a break.
Yeah, I'm a little worried myself about the next wave, but
yeah, I don't think it's over yet. I think we're going to go through a couple of waves before we really get this thing out of here, I don't see it.
Gotta get people vaccinated.
Well, people have to get vaccinated, and people also, I don't know. There's not an easy answer for it, because if the vaccine, everybody gets vaccinated, and then, then what? A new variant comes along, then people are going to have to get booster shots. This could go on for a while. It depends on the virus. It depends how much. Right, how much this thing's going to mutate, and, nobody has the answers for that.
Yeah, we're all just figuring it out together,
Kind of as we go along. So are you still in Arizona?
Yep, still living in Mesa.
Okay, and you're still going to school at Tempe, yeah?
Yeah, I go to ASU. I'm actually about to start my senior year in a few weeks here, so getting ready to go back to campus and stuff.
Now, what was your major again?
I studied creative writing with a concentration in poetry. So not the most lucrative career to most people, but it's what I love,
Well, the artistic pursuits are never financially lucrative, at least in the beginning,
Right.
They can be if you get famous, but no, it's not like going to work on Wall Street, certainly. So. Okay, with that in mind, though, what do you do with a degree like that? Where are you gonna take it somewhere, or are you just gonna continue to be a sort of bohemian and keep writing?
Before the pandemic, I was on tour, and for my last full-length book, The World Isn't the Size of Our Neighborhood Anymore, and I was doing a bunch of shows at libraries and coffee shops, and just hitting the road with my friends, and it was a really fun time. So I really would like, after college, to continue touring and traveling and spreading my art, and just find a way to do that sustainably. So I'm actually going to go back on tour in September is what I'm planning. Just kind of a mini tour, but I might go to LA for one show. So I'm pretty excited about that. But, along with that, I don't think I'll ever stop doing my work with the homeless. I think that that's going to be a part of my life till the day I die, and a huge goal of mine for the future is to start my own shelter and just kind of grow this project that we've been leading the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, that's very admirable and very respectable. But again, it's not something that's gonna make you rich in any sense, I don't think. You can do all of this stuff from your heart, which is wonderful. But what I'm curious about, we'll get back to the homeless situation in a moment. But what I'm curious about with your touring is that there is actually a market for people like you to go to coffee shops and read your poetry and get paid, or are you strictly on a tip basis?
Usually the most money I make is from book sales. So I'll bring a bunch of my books and sell them for $10 a pop. And, if I sell 10, 20 books, that's, $100, $200 for the day, which isn't bad.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I forgot about the book sales. Okay. So, but the venues themselves, they don't pay you to come, right? I mean, they just allow you to do your thing?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet. The libraries and coffee shops, it's a community thing. So, no money coming in there yet.
Well, I was just thinking because, musicians get paid to play in venues, although not a lot. But I didn't know if, poets could get paid at all from the venues to come in. I mean, does that draw a big crowd? What kind of crowds are you talking about that would come to see you? Kind
of depended. I think 20, 40, 50, something like that. What we're planning for September is I really want to do some outside shows. Outside a bar or something in a grassy field, or outside a library, and just try to make it this community space where people in whatever town we're in can just kind of gather around and listen to some poems. And I really loved collaborating with musicians and bands. So I want to go and do these shows with other different artists as well, not just poets and stuff. So that's kind of the goal for the next one.
You would be billed as kind of a group of people rather than individuals?
Yeah, I would say so. It would be me reading some poems, and I would love to do some shows with Joe, who's the incredible musician on our EP, because that's actually how we met. Is we did a show together on this art show called Desert Spotlight, and it was just very organic and natural, and we worked really well together. So I would love to do some more shows with him, but along with some other bands, people are going back on tour and doing shows again. So I think that the outside ideas, it would work pretty well.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about it's an EP, right? And it's called Street Sorrows. Now, what are you doing on this? Are you singing, or is it a rap, or what is it?
It's spoken word, yeah. So these are all poems that I've written over the last couple of years, just doing this work on the streets. And we paired it with Joe's music. He composed some songs to them, and then we recorded together, and just kind of created this really cool collaboration.
So you're talking and then there's music in the background?
Yeah, pretty much. But we really tried to synthesize it to make it feel like a coherent piece. So, in my mind, the music brings out parts of the poem that I never really knew were there, and the poem adds a new depth to the music. So it's, in theory, bringing these two art forms together to create something that's in step with each other.
Well, you know what, Austin? I think since this is kind of a new thing for me, spoken word with music, why don't we just have a listen to it now, yeah? Shall we listen to it now? It's called...
Yeah, let's do it.
Leo and Hazel. Give me the little background on it, and then we'll have a listen to it.
Yeah, so this particular poem, I actually wrote most of it in one night, and it was just about an experience I had in the Zone, which is the central tent city in Phoenix. So, with this album, I really wanted to paint a picture and show people a world that might at first glance seem like it's so separate from theirs, but it's really connected by our shared humanity, So the goal is to just show people that those on the streets are human and deserve just as much love and care as you or me,
Well, I think so. I think absolutely true. Okay, well, let's have a listen to this. This is Leo and Hazel, and it's by Austin Davis, and who else?
Joe Allie.
Joe Allie. Okay.
The sun is setting like a velvet lid over a coffin. I sit on Leo and Hazel's cooler outside their tent as flies buzz around our faces. Leo slaps at his neck. I sip my beer and close my eyes. People all around us cough and cry and pray for things I can't quite hear. And for a moment, the tent city feels like a living, breathing animal, writhing in pain from what it ate. Leo says they found a dead body in the dumpster last night. A young girl not much older than me, naked and beaten. I open my eyes. The sky is dark purple, and I know that once it's night, the screams of so many will weigh down our ears until our heads are too heavy to lift back up. Hazel stares at a pigeon pecking at a bloodstain in the middle of the street and says she's going to be a veterinarian someday.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I think the music adds a certain, I don't know, sort of an environmental background for your speaking. Yeah?
Right, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's good. Oh, I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a huge goal for us, is to create a texture with, both of these art forms playing off of each other. And that's really how we recorded it, honestly, is there was some prep work that Joe did, reading the poems and just kind of fooling around on the guitar and just trying to writing a little bit. But the whole recording process was actually done in one night. And it was a really, really cool experience, because we kind of just went in and Joe would kind of play off of how I was reading, and I tried to read off of, the way he was going with the music. And I think that it turned out really, really cool. So that's actually the second song off the album, and there are 3 songs. Okay. So that's just, yeah.
There is synchronicity between the two of you. If there wasn't, it would seem erratic. Right. You guys kind of have. Did you record that live? I mean, were you doing it at the same time?
Yeah, we did. Okay. We actually, our producer, his name's Brent James, and he's just a really incredibly smart guy when it comes to music and really everything. But yeah, we recorded that at Joe's place. Brent brought over all the recording equipment, and we just all made it happen.
Let me ask you something about your work with the homeless, because I've seen a lot of your posts on Facebook, and I respect you greatly for going out there and doing that and spending hours, it seems, in the blistering sun and not ideal conditions, certainly, and doing it from your heart. I don't imagine you get paid much, if anything, to do that, right?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so why does it seem like there has been just this huge upsurge of homelessness within the last year? I haven't been to LA in a couple of years, but from what I've seen on the news and the videos where all of these homeless encampments and tent cities have just sort of popped up, but it seems like it just happened within the last year. I mean, what happened?
Well, the cost of living is rising all across the nation, and a lot of people can't support themselves on the jobs that they're doing, and medical bills are sending a lot of people to the streets. People are losing jobs because of the pandemic. A lot of people go to the streets because of unforeseen circumstances. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't really think about. A lot of people think that, this person's homeless because of choices they've made or whatever it may be. And that's one of the stigmas around homelessness. And in our culture, I think. But from what I've seen, that it's just a lot of unforeseen circumstances. Life comes at us all in unexpected ways, and I think that it's important for us to all show a little empathy and care about each other. Because those in the streets, they're our neighbors. They're part of our community. These are human beings, and we need to look after each other.
How many of the people that are homeless are having mental health issues? Because I've read that as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the statistic, but a lot of people do struggle with mental illness on the streets. And, I myself struggle with OCD and depression and different mental health issues as well. So that's something that I understand to some degree.
Do you take medication?
Yeah, I'm on Zoloft, which is kind of an all-encompassing drug. It's supposed to help for all these little things.
Well, let me ask you something, because and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but my producer takes that as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but his is a long story. He's got other health issues which contribute to his mental health, and the Zoloft just sort of balances it out for him. But
right.
I'm curious now, if you don't take it, what is the difference in your personality and how you feel to when you do take it?
Well, the thing about me for Zoloft is it's kind of a slow-acting drug. Like the first time you take it, you're not going to feel anything. It has to get into your system, so you take it for a few weeks, and then you start to feel little benefits. And the more you take it, the longer you do it consistently, the better your overall mental health would be. So I'm not sure what would happen if I didn't take it for one day. Probably nothing, but I think if I stopped taking it for a long time, I would probably feel less energy. I'd probably feel more depressed, and I'd probably decline from there, but I don't think it would be a super fast acting thing. Like if I didn't take it today, I don't think tomorrow I'd wake up and not be able to get out of bed, although there are days like that, just because I take Zoloft doesn't mean it's all great. You know what I mean? Mental health is an up and down battle, at least for me. It's some days you just can't get out of bed. You just kind of have to accept that, and do your best to get through it, and hope that tomorrow will be better. And tomorrow usually is,
Well, I've heard it described as everybody has good and bad days. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody has anxiety and stress. The difference between somebody like that and somebody who is considered to have mental health issues is that the average person gets over it and moves on without assistance. And the person who has diagnosed of mental health issues cannot. Right. That they simply would just stay in bed forever. And yeah, it takes medication to balance the chemical imbalance so that the people can. Is that accurate? Yeah. Yeah,
I would say so. But for me, at least, just being on Zoloft doesn't mean that it's completely balanced out. If that makes sense, there's still, for me at least, there's work that I have to put into being okay every day.
Well, I assume working with the homeless, that's probably pretty good exercise, physical exercise for you, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm out in the heat all day, and I'm walking, running around, and it's definitely great exercise for me. I'm so skinny, but I keep losing weight, so I gotta eat some more.
Well, are you one of those guys that just can eat forever and never put on weight?
Yeah.
See, I hate guys like that. I absolutely. Because I'm one of those that just looks at food and gets fat. Yeah, it's we don't like you. We don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've been between 135 and 140 pounds since I was in high school.
Wow. How tall are you?
6 foot.
Oh, you are skinny. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's good.
A tall, skinny, lanky guy. Yeah. Well, I always hear that eventually my luck's gonna stop in that department, and I'm gonna gain some weight. So that's what I've heard. Those are the rumors, but.
Well, I think at your height and weight, you could afford to gain some weight. And
oh yeah, I wouldn't be complaining if I put on a little weight.
Yeah, and by the time that you're 40 and 50, you'll start to look like a dad, and you get that little dad belly going, and it'll be all right. I think you'll be okay. So aside from this project and the homeless work that you do, you said you wanted to to start touring again. Is COVID been a problem for that? Is it loosening up at all?
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to do shows since March of 2020. That's when my last reading was, and I'm totally okay with that. It was the right decision. We all needed to do our part, and we still do. We still need to do our part during this pandemic. So that's why these shows that I'm talking about in September would be contingent on whatever's going on. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not safe to do so, I definitely won't. But if it's okay to do an outdoor event with people wearing masks, social distancing, I think that would be cool. I really enjoy the live aspect of poetry readings and performance because it feels like this really intimate space. And I've always really enjoyed that. And I think that could be really beneficial because we haven't been able to do that in such a long time. But during the pandemic, I did online readings, like a lot of readings over Zoom. I did some readings on Instagram Live with like a couple bands, a couple other poets, just other ways to connect with people in a time when it felt really necessary to connect to people, but also so difficult.
Have you been fully vaccinated? Both shots?
Oh, yeah. I got fully vaccinated in January, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. And no side effects?
No, I think after the second one, I felt a little tired the next day, but no big deal.
No big deal. Okay. Well, good. All right. Well, listen, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Again, is it an EP? You said EP, right? It's called what?
Street Sorrows from Austin Davis and Joe Allie.
Austin Davis and Joe Allie. Okay, and where can people get it?
You can listen to it on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, pretty much anywhere music is consumed.
Okay. You getting any response, any feedback from it?
Yeah, I've heard, a lot of people have reached out and said that they're really enjoying it, and I've showed it to some friends on the streets, and they're telling me similar things as well. So I'm pretty happy with this project, and it was really beneficial for me to create just to get all this out of my head and onto something tangible that I could, that we could share with the world. And I'm hoping that, with all my projects, I'm hoping that this can bring us a little closer together in some small way, and decrease the stigma that people have about homelessness.
Well, I think that's great, and maybe it will. I hope so. Well, thank you, Austin, for coming back on the show. Always nice talking to you. Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Always amazing talking with you and being on your show, and I'll be excited for next time, hopefully.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on the Douglas Coleman Show.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Douglas Coleman's Don't Do a Podcast is a dryly humorous rant about Douglas's pet peeve, the unrelenting torrent of podcasts hitting the web on a constant basis. As technology has put podcasting within the reach of anyone, many wholly unqualified people have taken the plunge. This witty polemic tries to persuade them from broadcasting their drivel using Douglas's brand of sarcastic humor. Now on Amazon, only 99 cents.
DJC Music and DJC Productions are pleased to announce a brand new website. We have started a listing website for radio show hosts as well as potential show guests. This is a meeting site where hosts and guests can come together. Show hosts can list their show and types of guests they're interested in booking. Potential guests can list their talents, bio, accomplishments, or anything they feel makes them an interesting radio show guest. There are no recurrent payments, only a one-time $5 listing fee. Your listing will stay up until you decide to cancel. Previous guests of The Douglas Coleman Show are welcome to submit their guest listing free of charge. Go to radiohostsandguests.com. That's radiohostsandguests.com.
Are you an independent musician? How would you like to have your songs played on hundreds of radio stations just like the one you're listening to right now? Join MusicSubmit.com and we'll promote your music to radio stations and blogs in your genre. It's free to set up your account, and we guarantee your music will be considered for airplay by radio stations worldwide. Why not sign up today? It's free. MusicSubmit.com. Radio promotion for indie musicians.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. Don't touch anything. You've got it right where you need it. Tuned in to the Douglas Coleman Show. You heard me.
Hi, this is Luverboi from São Paulo, Brazil. You're listening to the Douglas Coleman Show. And here's my single called Blue. Beijos do Brasil.
Fucked up as mine. So tell me, how do I read? Wine stains on my white shirt, mixing with my nose blood. Offer me more alcohol, I don't know you. But do I know me though? I'm blue. Tonight I'm blue, and I do what I do to get by. I'm blue, and I wanna be blue tonight. I'm blue, I'm blue, and I wanna be blue tonight. I'm blue.
Okay, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, welcome Luverboi. Hey, Luverboi, how are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. So I saw your video. I actually saw two of them. The one I really liked was Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I don't know, there was something very different about it. I mean, the music was very haunting, I guess would be the word I would want to use. It was very, put me in kind of a trance, but it was a little bit like, not scary, but just haunting in a good way, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly my intention. Like, I like to use the word ethereal to describe Blue.
Ethereal. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
I really wanted to put my public in a trance. That was exactly the intention.
Well, it was very good. And your videos, all of your videos, they're very, very well shot. I mean, the production values are fabulous. And they're very theatrical. I mean, you've got a lot of makeup and costumes, and I mean, you really put a lot of time and work into these videos, yeah?
Yeah. I try to do my best. Like, thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I appreciate you like.
So you're in Brazil. You were born in Brazil. Your English is fantastic. How did you learn to speak English so well?
Thank you so much. I was kind of nervous, but I think we'll understand each other well.
You must have studied a lot of English, yeah?
I actually learned like from music.
Okay, because I mean you speak fluently, but you speak in a way that's like, I would have thought you lived in the United States now. You know, like maybe you came from Brazil and you moved to the United States, because you have the inflections of somebody who is a native speaker.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Okay. Why don't you give us a little bit of your backstory, how you got into music and what you listen to and where you're going, all that good stuff?
Okay, sure. My first introduction to music was actually Lady Gaga. Like, I learned to play piano because I used to see her like when I was a child, and that really changed my life, man. Like, that opened so many doors for me, and thanks to her, I know like what I want to do today. I owe her everything. Like, she made me learn to sing. She made me learn to write. She made me learn to produce. She made me learn to play piano. And that's the reason I live today. That's all I do.
Oh, that's tremendous. Yeah. And so I can see the theatric side of her influence, you know, with the way that you do your costumes and your makeup. And I think what was really cool for me about Blue was that aside from the song being called Blue, the whole video was blue. I mean, your hair's blue, your beard's blue, your underwear is blue, everything's blue.
The lights,
yeah, the lights, and it was cool. I think the way that you put that together. How did you come up with that? Which came first, actually, the video or the song, or how did you do it?
The song came first, and then I really liked the song, and I wanted to do like something big with the song, and we shot the video. Like, it was amazing. It was like the first time I felt like a star was filming Blue.
So how long did it take you to put all that together?
It was actually like 4 months. Like, the production of the song took like 3 months, and then we shot the video and we put it out in a month.
Okay. Now, who are all the other people? They're your friends? And
they're my friends, yeah.
Okay.
I call my friends. I love to make art with my friends. Like, it's amazing.
Are any of them part of your music, or do you do all the music yourself?
No, I have a producer here. She's Erica. Like, she does the production of my songs. She's not in the video, but she's my friend, and she's amazing. She's like the best producer ever. I love her so much.
So where do you take this music? Would you shop it in clubs? Would they play this in dance clubs? It's not really dance music, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I imagine driving at night listening to Blue. I think it's a great time to listen when you're like driving at night with a lot of neon lights and neon signs, I think there's a great time to listen to Blue.
Yeah, definitely. So you put the music out, and then you've got to promote it. Do you have any PR? Do you have anybody that represents you, a manager or anything, or are you doing it all on your own?
Not yet, not yet. I'm still doing everything on my own. But I really want to. I really want to have PR and someone to do this stuff for me.
So how is your music doing? I mean, are you getting good response? You getting people downloading it, people leaving you good comments?
Yeah, it's great actually. Like Blue has a lot of streams. Not so much like it's hard for an independent artist in the beginning. It's really hard, but I think it's great. I think it's doing great. Like it could be better, of course, but it's doing great. Like I can't complain.
Tell us a little about Sao Paulo, because I've never been there, and I don't think a lot of my listeners have been there.
Okay,
What is
I
it
love
like?
São Paulo. Like you can make the city everything you want. Like if you want art, here's the place. If you want like party, here's the place. If you want I don't know, just relax, you can relax here too. Like there are some places you can relax. Like the city is what you want it to be.
What's the weather like?
Uh it's like it's very very bipolar weather. Like
Bipolar weather. Yeah.
you never know. Like it's sun and then it's so cold and then it's sun again. It's very bipolar.
Do you get snow?
No, we don't.
Okay, so it's semi-tropical, like California kind of.
Yeah.
And the language is Portuguese, I assume, right?
Yeah, Portuguese.
Portuguese, right. So what do you want to do with your life? You're going to be a musician? You're going to pursue this till you die?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Till I die. I have no other option. Like, even if I wanted to, I can't. I'm not good in anything else. Like, I was born to do this. And I'm so grateful that I know that.
Well, you know what? You are lucky that you know that, and you especially know that at your age. Because I'm looking at your bio, and you're just 20 years old, right?
I'm 19, actually.
Oh, 19. Oh, right, November. Yeah, so a couple of months you'll be 20 years old. And
exactly.
A lot of people don't figure it out until they're like in the 30s and 40s, and, you know, they work at some job that they hate because they have to make money. And,
yeah,
you know, with you,
exactly.
you've got your focus in now while you're young.
Exactly. That's why I'm so grateful. Grateful.
Well, that's good. So where do you take it? What are you going to do? I mean, you got to keep pushing on it. You're going to perform live?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to perform live because I actually started, like, Luverboi started during the pandemic, like last year, so I didn't get the chance to perform live, but I'm really looking forward to perform live.
Okay, now when you would perform live, how would you do it? You would sing, right?
Yeah, definitely, I would sing.
And then have a backtrack, like on a pad or something like that you could play? You wouldn't have live band, would you?
I think I would have a backtrack.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there clubs that you can go to that would take that kind of music? Yeah.
Yeah, there are some clubs here in São Paulo that I'm really excited to perform, but I don't think in Brazil they will really understand my music and my art. Like, so I really want to move to the US because I think it's easier to reach for world domination when you like sing in English and when you live in America, and that's what I want. I want world domination.
Well, that's very ambitious of you. I hope that works out. How difficult is it to get to the United States as a Brazilian citizen? Is there a big process?
Yeah, it's not so easy, but it's not so hard. Like I'm already working on that. This is my last year in Brazil. I'm here like to produce some music, with my producer, and I want to move next year. The plan is to move next year. I'm looking forward to move to the US.
Do you have some contacts in the United States already?
Actually, I don't. Like, I don't.
Well, you know what? I mean, with the craziness at our border, you could probably just walk across and be fine if you could get to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you could make it there, you could just kind of walk in, and if you had some money in your pocket, you'd probably be all right.
That's true. People tell me that all the time.
Well, it's in the news. I mean, I'm not near the border, so I don't know what's going on, and our news is, I don't even want to get into that. That's just awful politics that I'd rather not talk about. But, you know, it seems like the border is pretty much wide open at this point, and since you're south of the border, it would be easy enough if you could just get there. But you probably should come in the legal way, because
definitely,
you know, if things change, then you could get deported, and you don't want to do that. So
yeah, definitely,
you know, go through the process and come in legally. And I know that from people that I've known in the past, the trick with the United States is you come in on a temporary kind of a visa, and then you leave when you're supposed to leave, and then you come back again, and you have to do that a few times to kind of prove that they can trust you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly how I plan to do.
Because you know, once you've sort of gained the trust of the U.S. government, then it's a little easier to get visas. Because I know that I had a couple of students. I was working in Thailand in 2006, 7, 8. I was teaching English. And I had a couple of my students apply for student visas to come to the United States to study. And 2 of them, they skipped on the visa. In other words, once they got to the United States, they disappeared. And they never came back to Thailand. Right?
Oh, my God.
And one of them, I remember getting an email from one, and he said, you know, I don't know what to do because now I'm stuck. If I leave the United States, I can never come back again, because he'd be blacklisted, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's a tough situation.
Yeah, so you don't want to go that route. I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I definitely don't.
On your bio, it said that you started when you were 14 in musical theater. So all of that kind of the costuming and the makeup and everything that I see in your videos, you were already kind of doing that, yeah?
Yeah. I'm very theatrical. Very theatrical.
Well, it shows in your videos, and I'm really very impressed with what you've done. And
thank you so much. It means a lot.
And I think with that, we can wrap this up. Do you have a website that you want to give out where people can come check you out and check out the music?
People can check my music out on Instagram. Like, I pretty much put everything there. It's Luverboi Music.
Okay, and that's spelled L-U-V.
Find everything there.
Spell out Luverboi so people know how to spell it.
Okay, so it's Luverboi.
Okay, on Instagram, yeah?
Yeah, Luverboi Music.
Luverboi Music. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Luverboi, for coming on the show. It was nice talking to you, and best of luck with your music and your videos. I hope they do well.
Thank you so much, Doug. That was amazing. Like, thank you for